An arrest was perhaps not what Barbara Mali was expecting the day after being appointed head of Fiji's national corruption watchdog.
The manager of investigations walked in and he places a hand on my shoulder and says to me, "Barbara Mali, I am placing you under arrest. If you resist arrest, we will take all reasonable steps to detain you."
The actions were ordered by her acting Deputy Commissioner, Frances Pulewai, alleging she shouldn't have been appointed to the top job given she was already under investigation for conduct in a previous role as Fiji's Electoral Commission chair.
Why were they rushing to have her appointed?
Soon after the raid, the deputy quit her post and fled Fiji to Australia, alleging she'd been intimidated by Miss Mali's allies.
One of the incidents was the tire that our vehicle had been punctured.
But Miss Mali, who hasn't been charged and remains the anti-corruption commissioner, has strongly denied the allegations against her.
I don't do threats. That the people that I spend time with would not stoop so low as to threaten a woman and her children and family. And look, we're too old to do that. We're too old and fat to go and be doing threats in the middle of the night or do heavy breathing on the telephone.
Meanwhile, Fiji's Attorney General has come out in support of the commissioner, describing her arrest as unseemly and saying the investigation into her conduct at the Electoral Commission arose out of a misunderstanding.
The legality of that arrest is highly questionable.
He also suggested Ms. Pulewai may have been motivated by revenge, which she denies.
I think it should be known that Ms. Pulewai herself had applied for the FICAC position.
It's a complex web with implications for Fiji's democracy among everything else. So, to break it down for us, Lice joins me now from Suva. Bula vinaka, Lice.
Bula vinaka, and a happy Fiji Day to you there, Johnson.
Likewise. Now, Lice, we know with this story, it's led to quite a lot of misinformation and trolling online. What have people been saying?
Johnson, people are quite frustrated. This is the second of Fiji's key democratic institution to be called into question, especially with regards to the recruitment of its leadership. 2 years on from a change of government, people are beginning to wonder what democracy looks like in Fiji. But there's also quite a lot of mudslinging happening as people resort to social media to air out their frustrations. And also very frustrated is, of course, the woman at the center of this who tells us a little bit now why it's been so difficult for her.
It's been hard trying to work, to do the job I've been hired to do, plus deal with all the media blitz and the criticisms and all the keyboard warriors. The attacks by people who don't know me, and then by people who also know me.
Now, Lice, what's Prime Minister Rambuka said he'll do as a response to these events?
Look, initially, when footage of that original interview that the former acting deputy FICAC commissioner came out, Rambuka had said that he didn't want a country that was calling into question the appointment of its important leaders. And so he promised a commission of inquiry. And over the course of the last fortnight, he's gone about talking about what that might look like, its terms of reference and who might sit on it. However, just yesterday, following this week's cabinet meeting, Rambuka did announce that actually our Commissions of Inquiries Act does not give him or the cabinet the powers to decide whether a commission of inquiry should sit. In fact, that power rests with the president, and so we now wait upon the Prime Minister's advice to the president for such a commission to take place. But Rambuka talks a lot this week, and he said to me that it was very important for a commission of inquiry to take place and for its findings to be made public so that people continued to respect the appointment of the leaders of Fiji's key democratic institutions.
There are obviously a lot of questions about the integrity of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, given what's unfolded, what are the long-term implications for the Commission's reputation?
Look, we've been talking to, academics and analysts and people who watch closely the developments in Fiji over the last 10, 20 years or so. And something that's come quite clear that everyone can agree on is after 16 years of a very restricted rule, a dictatorship as some have called it, Fiji continues to struggle with bringing a democracy that everyone can agree with and that everyone can work with. So what's happening now is that this government does need to convince the people that it does intend to bring democracy. At the Victoria University of Wellington, Professor John Frankel said FICAC was originally built on some noble intentions, on the intentions of keeping Fiji abreast of its clean practices and ensuring that civil servants who do take advantage of the government are taken to task. But as John Frankel does say, that has not really happened. Over the last 16 years, FICAC was weaponized to go after the government's opponents and even sometimes to keep its own people in line. So what current FICAC Commissioner Barbara Malimali told us is that she hopes she can be left to do her job and make FICAC do what it intends to do, and that's keeping Fiji corruption-free.
That's all we have time for. Vinaka Lice.
Vinaka Johnson.